Back here at Clinton Senior High School, we're about to have the national anthem tonight, sung by one of the Dragon students. We've got a packed house in here. There is hardly any place to stand or sit. Here's the national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets prevailed, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Back here at the Clinton Senior High School, Jim, just an outstanding rendition of the national anthem.
Yes, that was, Dave. As we mentioned last week, it's very hard to sing without any music to that song, which is naturally a hard song, and she came out and did it wonderfully for us.
And we're about to get underway here, the Wildcats and the Clinton Dragons. And why don't you run down some of the past history of this rivalry between the Wildcats and the Dragons?
Well, Dave, it looks like we're going to... Well, right now the Oak Ridge leads the all-time series 98-45 against Clinton. That's a big lead. Oak Ridge won both regular season meetings last year. At home, they won 60-45, and here at Clinton, they won 73-65. Not nearly as big a margin at Clinton. Clinton won the District 3 finals last year against Oak Ridge 50-47. Also, Oak Ridge has won four straight before that. Had Clinton won 11, Clinton had won 11 in a row over Oak Ridge, though. Next Tuesday, Morristown West will play Oak Ridge at Morristown West. Oak Ridge leads that series 6-3. Right now, Adrian Porter has 1,159 career points. He needs 17 points to tie Otis Howard, the 72-74, for 6th place all time. That's 17 points, so more than likely he will get that this year, this game, but nobody ever knows. Ross Nesbitt, 77 career three-pointers, needs one this game to tie Cameron Sexton of the 86-89 teams for 6th place all time. He needs 24 points to move into the 74th place. Oak Ridge has played 2 games, winning both of those, beating William Blount at home 67-63 in overtime, and beating Campbell County also at home 79-72 in the 4th quarter.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. That was one of the more entertaining introductions of the starting lineup. That's why I let you read all that so I could watch the introduction. Wildcat student section held up newspaper. That's a tradition that dates back years and years. But as soon as the names would be read off, they'd lower their papers and just yell out on the floor.
They were yelling our player's name every time one of their players was introduced. They would change one of the Oak Ridge starters for theirs. It was hilarious to watch. Great crowd for the Wildcats there tonight. Unquestionably, extremely loud.
And we're about to get set. Oak Ridge is going to come out tonight with Jacob McCartney, along with Joffrey Lee, Darius Waters, Adrian Porter, and Ross Nesbitt. Oak Ridge is coached by Chuck Carringer, assisted by David Scott and Rodney Jones. The Dragons are going to come out tonight with Travis Marlowe, along with Dan Weaver, also Naif Abdul-Rahman. Also starting tonight for them is Jesse Rod and number 32, Brad Sellers. He's jumping with McCartney, and we're about to have basketball for you here at the Clinton Senior High School gym. Ball tip control by Oak Ridge. With the basketball will come Joffrey Lee. Joffrey inside to Jacob, inside Darius, turning, spinning, called for a walk. So we're underway here at the Clinton Senior High School gym on WATO and Comcast Cable, Channel 12, and here come the Dragons down the floor. For the basketball, the District 3 most valuable player at the tournament last year, Naif Abdurrahman. He's a 6'2" senior point guard. He's going to dribble in, penetrate all the way through, goes inside. Good defense by Nesbitt. Here's a shot, missed, rebounded by Oak Ridge. Darius Waters and the Wildcats trying to get the ball down the floor. Here comes Adrian Porter. Porter with it over to Nesbitt. A long-range three. It's up, no good. Way out of his range at that point. Misfires. And down the floor of the basketball will come Abdurrahman once again. All the way in for a layup. Goes in for it. Blocked. Rebounded by Rod. Good. Rod scores. And here comes Oak Ridge. The Wildcats turn it over the inbounds, and they score. Wildcats a little bit careless. Pressure defense causing problems. Here comes Oak Ridge down the floor with it. Will come Ross Nesbitt. 4-0 Dragons. Wildcats throw the ball down to Darius Waters. Tripped and walks. Wildcats are a little bit fired up, a little bit too pumped up, I think, as Oak Ridge coming down the floor extremely quickly, and they've turned the ball over a couple times. 4-0 our score. Here comes Naif Abdurrahman bringing the ball down the floor. The Wildcats playing with Adrian Porter. He's guarding on the floor, number 32 for them, Brad Sellers. The Dragons have it with Weaver. Weaver guarded by Nesbitt. Outside the three-point stripe, looks for somebody to cut free, gives it over to Rod. Jesse Rod outside the line, guarded by McCartney. Throws the ball out to Naif Abdurrahman. Naif attacks right in front of the Oak Ridge bench, continues to dribble around a screen set by Rod. Backs up to the midcourt line. Clinton on top, 4-0. 6:37 to play in the first quarter. Naif Abdurrahman, good shooter, good team leader, gives it off to Rod. Drives in, pulls up and shoots. No good. On the rebound, Darius Waters of Oak Ridge to Porter. Adrian Porter down the floor for the Wildcats. Has Nesbitt on the left wing. He's got it. Bounce pass inside McCartney. McCartney kicks it out to Adrian Porter. Won't take a three. Ross is wide open for a three. Won't take it. Backs it up to Porter. Has trouble with the dribble. Dribbles off to the top of the circle and calls a new play. 6:11 to play in the first quarter. The Dragons on top of Oak Ridge, 4-0. Bounce pass goes off the lead to McCartney. Jacob McCartney harassed, goes inside of Darius, turning, spinning, driving, shooting up. Darius missed it. On the rebound, Clinton. Dragon basketball with Naif Abdurrahman. The Wildcats haven't scored in the first 2 minutes of the ball game. Here's Naif driving in, foul by Ross Nesbitt. Personal foul will go against Nesbitt. That'll be his first. Team foul number 1. The Wildcats trail 4-0. Clinton basketball underneath the goal. To work the ball in will be Jesse Rod, 6'3" junior. He'll work the ball in for the Dragons, wearing all white jerseys with black numerals with orange trim. Rod lobs it inside to Naif Abdurrahman. Attacks to the top, gives it inside to Rod. Rod walk, no call, goes up for the shot, good. Oak Ridge basketball, here comes to Nesbitt. 6-0 our score. Ross down the floor, the Wildcats look inside, throw it inside, and McCartney turns, hook shot, good, off the glass. Wildcats score their first 2 points, and it's a 6-2 ball game. 5:53 to play in the first period. Down the floor once again, Naif Abdurrahman, picked up by Joffrey Lee. He dribbles to the top, continues to dribble over toward the left side, right in front of the Oak Ridge bench. He stops and brings it up to the top of the circle to Sellers. Brad Sellers works the ball back out to Weaver. Weaver gets a screen, pulls up, shoots a 10-footer, good! Dan Weaver scores, 6-foot sophomore, and the Wildcats trail 6-2, 8-2. Here comes Porter, inside, throws the ball to McCartney, saved by Clinton, then they lost it out of bounds. Wildcats will see the Dragons substitute Travis Morrow in the ball game. Also, Jarrell Beeman coming into the game. Out of the game now will come Brad Sellers. Here's the lob inside Darius Waters. Drives to the free throw line. Off balance shot from 5 feet. No good. Put back in. Good. Almost a dunk by Joffrey Lee. 8-4 the score. The Dragons on top. 5:22 and counting in the first quarter. Clinton by 4 on their home floor. With the basketball will come Beeman. Works the ball against Adrian Porter. Looks to his left to Weaver. Continues to dribble. 5-second count is on him, so he gets rid of the ball to Jesse Rod. Rod guarded by McCartney. Finds Abdurrahman free. Abdurrahman stripped of the ball by Oak Ridge. Adrian Porter, coast to coast, goes in for the layup. Fingers it in. Good. 8-6 our score. The Wildcats trail by 2. Here comes Abdurrahman down the floor off to Jesse Rod. Picked up by Jacob McCartney to the midcourt circle. 4:51 to play first quarter. It's a 2-point Dragon lead, 8-6. Rod dribbles, continues to dribble, takes his man one-on-one, pulls up, blocked by McCartney. Taken away by Joffrey Lee. Down the floor will come Oak Ridge. Joffrey weaves the ball down the floor, gives it over to Nesbitt. Inside to McCartney. McCartney turning, spinning, driving, goes in for the layup, missed it. On the rebound, Clinton, and a foul's called. Foul called against Oak Ridge. It'll be their second team foul. As they'll substitute, looks like Rod's going to come out, maybe. Not the case. Yes, indeed, Rod's coming out. Travis Marlowe's coming in. Back in the ball game will come Brad Sellers. Dan Weaver is also coming out of the ball game. So they're playing with Beeman along with Marlowe, Abdulrahman, and Sellers. 4:26 to play first quarter. Here's a steal by Jacob McCartney. Long pass, then the ball's ripped out of his hands, taken away by Abdulrahman. Saved on the left side by Marlowe. Here's the shot by Abdulrahman, good. Dragons by 4. Here's Oak Ridge against the press. Adrian Porter's going to bring the ball across the line, dribbles to the top of the circle, stripped to the ball and fouled from the rear. Foul's going to be called against Travis Marlowe. Boy, what an exciting start to the ball game.
Yes, it is, David. Oak Ridge and Clinton both came out very strong. Clinton putting the pressure on defense. They almost got a couple steals right there when Travis Marlowe got that foul. He was trying to steal the ball.
Oak Ridge works the ball in, and it comes to Adrian Porter. The Wildcats down 4, 10-6. 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Adrian backs up to the midcourt line, attacks the zone, looks to his right, comes off to his left with a pass to Ross Nesbitt. Nesbitt dribbles top, gives it over to Joffrey Lee. Bounce pass inside to Darius Waters, back to Joffrey, to Ross for 3. It's up. It's no good. On the rebound will come the Dragons. Travis Morrow picks it away and pulls it down to Beeman. Beeman brings the ball across the line, continues to dribble, unable to shoot, backs it up to Abdulrahman. Abdulrahman, guarded by Joffrey Lee, holds the ball with 3:34 to play, very content just to hold the ball until the Wildcats come out and front him. Coach Lockhart's telling Nate just to stay put with it. Now Joffrey Lee initiates, and now Abdulrahman drives in, blocked by Joffrey. Oh, he swatted that bad boy up against the wall. Good, 10 feet above the floor. Great rejection by Joffrey Lee.
Yes, Joffrey Lee just made a big play. That should be a big momentum play as well, Dave. Nate just got the ball stuffed into his house.
Brad Sellers will work the ball in from the baseline, looking yet to fire it in. Now does. In it comes to number 13, Beeman. Throws the ball, deflected by McCartney, out of bounds. It'll be Clinton basketball underneath the goal. Oak Ridge playing with David Pettis now, along with Jacob McCartney, Joffrey Lee, Ross Nesbitt, and Adrian Porter. They've substituted a lot more freer than Oak Ridge has. Wildcats is really, I think, I can only remember one substitution. That's Pettis now for Waters. And it comes to the Dragons, where they'll come Abdulrahman, sets it out to the top of the circle off to Marlowe. Over to Abdulrahman, drives inside, shot is up, good. Dragons score with Travis Morrow, and down the floor will come the Wildcats trailing by 6. 12-6 to score. Ross about to be trapped. Dribbles out to the top, lobs it inside to McCartney. McCartney comes cross-court and throws the ball away. Coach Carringer, I think, should call a timeout. 2:56 to play first quarter. The Wildcats are a little bit out of control right now. Great crowd on hand here. The Dragon faithful standing and cheering across the gym. The Oak Ridge faithful standing as well right here in front of us. Here comes Clinton down the floor. Abdulrahman swings the ball across the way. Off it goes to Sellers. Goes inside. Here's a shot. No good. Foul's going to be called, I think, against McCartney. It'll be a shooting violation, so the Wildcats will watch Clinton stroll to the line. They already lead by 6. 2:44 to play in the first quarter. At the free throw line we go Dan Weaver. He's a sophomore, 6 foot tall, has 2 points in the ball game, and this will be his first attempts from the free throw line. Dan Weaver, guns, no good. Hit the front end of the rim. He was fouled in the act of shooting. He'll have another one. They've substituted. They've probably played 10 guys already, as they'll substitute out Travis Morrow. Back in the ball game will come Jesse Rod. Weaver to the charity stripe. Here's his toss. Good. 7-point game. The Wildcats trailing 13-6. 2:43 to play first quarter. Here's Adrian Porter down the floor. Weaver defending him. Adrian brings it across the line, blows him away, dribbles to the free throw line, then draws a foul. Great little move by Adrian Porter. Had Weaver going one way, Adrian went the opposite direction, and then a foul is going to be called against Clinton. Personal foul will go against Weaver. That'll be his first personal foul. And the second team foul called against Clinton. They lead Oak Ridge 13-6, 2:36 to play, and Oak Ridge will have the basketball. Joffrey Lee works it into Adrian Porter. Adrian attacks to the top, guns a three-point shot. It's up, no good. McCartney has the rebound. Back up with a three-footer. No good. Tip, no good. Joffrey Lee comes down with a rebound. Sets the ball across the floor to Nesbitt. Ross thought about a three, can't get it off. Here it goes to Porter. He'll gun a three. No good. Tip back and saved by Pettis in the hands of Joffrey. Here's a 10-footer. Good. Nice shot by Joffrey Lee. Wildcats kept working it and working it around, keeping it in play, and Oak Ridge cuts the gap to 5. 13-8 the score. Here comes Jesse Rod down the floor. Picked up by Joffrey Lee. Gives it out here on the left side. Over he goes to Marlowe. Travis Marlowe dribbling in front of the Oak Ridge bench with 1:56 to play in the first quarter in a 5-point game. Dragons, Beeman works against Ross Nesbitt to the top of the circle, looks inside, sets it out once again to Marlowe. Travis Marlowe, 6-foot junior, hands it over to Nathal Abdul-Rahman, who will set the play in motion at the top of the circle. Picked up by Joffrey Lee, backs up for three, now gets a backdoor cut. Here it is, blocked by Oak Ridge. That's the second time, but I'll give credit. Wildcats need to cut off the baseline because Nath is getting two easy drives along the baseline. That time the Wildcats just blocked the shot. Clinton to work the ball in, they throw it away. Clinton gets it right back with Abdul-Rahman in the paint forever, goes up for the shots, rejected, no good. On the rebound, McCartney of the Wildcats. Outlet down to Ross Nesbitt. Wildcats down by 5. Ross pulls up, guns the three, no good. Foul called against Oak Ridge. I think it's against Pettis. Wildcats misfiring from the perimeter. Ross coming off of a 7 3-point performance this past Tuesday in the win over Campbell County. Struggled to this point. He's 0 for 3 as the Wildcats commit their 4th personal foul. 13-8 the score, minute 15 to play in the first quarter. It's been all Dragons to this point with the basketball Clinton. With it will come Travis Marlowe, picked up now by Oak Ridge's Adrian Porter. Dribbles in front of the Oak Ridge bench again, stops, looks down the baseline, over it goes to Sellers, out to the top, it goes to Rod. Rod now picked up, has to get rid of the basketball, does now to Abdul-Rahman. We're down to a minute to play in the first quarter. Oak Ridge trailing 13-5. The girls won tonight in a big way. Final score is 77-49. Jesse Rod dribbles the ball and hands it off once again to Travis Marlowe. Then a whistle blows, and away from the ball, a foul is going to be called against Clinton. It'll go against Brad Sellers. The Oak Ridge fan appreciates the call. It's the third foul called against Clinton, and it'll be Oak Ridge basketball. Oak Ridge will substitute Darius Waters back in the ball game. Oak Ridge trailing 13-8, really struggling with their shot from the perimeter, and Clinton doing an excellent job on the inside against McCartney. To work the ball in will be Darius Waters. About to be handed the ball from the official, and he gives it into Adrian Porter. 39 seconds to play in the first quarter. Oak Ridge trailing by 5. 13-8 the score. We're on Comcast Cable Channel 12 and WATO. Nesbitt in front of the Dragon bench, comes cross-court to Adrian. Adrian pulls up, 8-footer. It's up and it's good. Adrian Porter closes the gap to 3. And for Adrian, he has 4 points, 13-10 the score. Here comes Clinton down the floor. With the basketball will come Travis Marlowe. Picked up by Joffrey Lee. Dribbles with 13 seconds to play to the midcourt circle. Man-to-man being applied by Oak Ridge as Joffrey takes Marlowe one-on-one. He strips the ball. We're going to see a grand slam dunker, Reno. He missed it. On the rebound will come Beeman. 1 second. At the buzzer, they don't get a shot off. Joffrey was struggling with a little knee injury. Couldn't get up. He missed it. Our score after 1 quarter, Oak Ridge trails 13-10, and we'll be back in 60 seconds.
Doggone it. You missed that thing.
Back here at the Clinton Senior High School gym, David Clary, Jonathan Walls, Mike Sheehan. Cynthia is our engineer back at WATO. We're also on Comcast Cable Channel 12. The replay of the game can be seen tomorrow beginning at 12 noon. Philip Leander and Kevin McKeithen are doing our camera work. Dragon basketball as we start the second quarter in a 3-point game. Oh, Rod gets an easy layup. Great play, Dragons. Easy one. Down the floor, Oak Ridge, 5-point game. 15-10 the score. 7:44 to play in the first half. Adrian Porter will bring the ball down the floor. Packed house here from Clinton Senior High School. 15-10 Dragons. Oak Ridge basketball. Adrian Porter sets it up. Nesbitt, a wide open 3. Good! And 3-point shot for Ross Nesbitt, and the Wildcats trail by 2. 15-13 the score. And for Ross, I believe he has just hit his 78th career 3-pointer, which ties him with Cameron Sexton on the all-time 3-point shooting list. Dragon basketball up by 2. 15-13. Here's an off-balance shot, but it's a pretty one. Good by Travis Marlowe, and Oak Ridge trails by 4. Here's the ball inbounded from Darius Waters to Adrian Porter. Porter's going to bring the ball right past Abdul-Rahman and Weaver. It's going to take it coast to coast. Goes in for a layup. Travel's going to be called. Travel called against the Wildcat point guard Adrian Porter. It's a 4-point game. Clinton on top, 17-13, 6:59 to play. Here comes Nathal Abdul-Rahman bringing the ball down the floor. Dragons and the Wildcats, longtime rival. Oak Ridge trying to win its 99th game over the Clinton Dragons. Oak Ridge leads the all-time series 98-45. Away from the ball, a foul is going to be called, I think, against Darius Waters of Oak Ridge. The official goes over to the scorer's table and says, indeed, the foul is called against Darius. That'll be his second personal foul. The Clinton basketball will be Brad Sellers to work the ball in. Oak Ridge has David Pettis back in the ball game. Jacob McCartney's in, so the Wildcats playing at the post with David Pettis and Jacob McCartney. The wings are Joffrey Lee and Ross Nesbitt. Point guard is Adrian Porter. Pass comes into Jesse Rod, backs it up and gives it off to Abdul-Rahman. Around the left side, they won't get a three shot off. It looked as if Dan Weaver wanted to fire one up. He did not. Wildcats now in a prevent defense as they kind of back off in a zone. The only coverage really man-to-man is down there. Looks like a box and one with Pettis and Rod going at it. Abdul-Rahman's allowed to dribble at the top of the key. Once again, 6:22 to play. Wildcats staying in it. Over it goes to Abdul-Rahman. Clinton by 4, 17-13 the score. 6 minutes, 16 seconds to play here in the first half from the Clinton Senior High School gym. Abdul-Rahman guarded by Joffrey Lee. Dribbles right, gives it out to the top of the circle. Off it goes to Sellers. Here's a steal by Pettis. And a foul called against Clinton. It'll go against Dan Weaver. 15 foul call. The Wildcats get a turnover. The Oak Ridge basketball side court. Weaver picks up his second personal foul. Clinton's going to substitute. And one thing I like about the way Coach Lockhart is coaching this ball game, he's keeping a lot of fresh bodies in the ball game for the Dragon.
Yes, he is, Dave. And this could help in the long run. They're not getting many fouls on anybody on the Clinton team. Well, we're not really either. Oak Ridge isn't really either, but, and as Ross Nesbitt puts up a three and nails that one, Oak Ridge didn't really get many fouls either, but they're getting more tired, I believe, than the Clinton will end up getting.
17-16 the score. It's a one-point game after the three-point shot by Nesbitt. So the Wildcats take advantage of the turnover. Clinton basketball. Abdul-Rahman one-on-one against Joffrey. Turns, spins, forces up a shot. It's a pretty one. Good! Abdul-Rahman scores, and we're back to a three-point game. Here's Oak Ridge's Pettis working it into Adrian Porter. Porter got it by Travis Marlowe in the rear court. Going to bring the ball across the line with a pass to Ross Nesbitt. Back it goes to Porter. Three-point Dragon lead, 19-16 the score. 5:18 to play in the first half. Adrian Porter dribbling the ball at the top of the key, gives it over to Nesbitt. Ross thought about shooting, will not take the three. There's Joffrey in the right corner. He's got a three-pointer. It's up. It's no good. On the rebound will come Jesse Rod. On the rebound will come Clinton. Will come Beeman. Beeman dribbles outside the line, comes cross-court with the pass to Jesse Rod. He's going to drive in, pull up, shoot. Good. And he's fouled. Rod just out quick. Jacob McCartney that time. Jacob picks up the personal foul, and that'll be his second foul. And more importantly, if you're an Oak Ridge fan, it's a 5-point Dragon lead. 21-16 the score, and at the free throw line will go Jesse Rod. Wildcats 2-0 coming into this ball game. Clinton shoots. Good. Three-point play is complete, and Oak Ridge trails 22-16. The Wildcats, to my knowledge, have never led in the ball game. They trail 22-16. David Pettis will work it in, and it comes to Adrian Porter. Wildcats with the basketballs. The foul situation, Oak Ridge has committed 6, while the Dragons have committed 4. Very few fouls called in this ball game. 4:48 to play in the first half, 22-16 the score. Adrian pulls up, penetrates all the way in, scores. Good, and he's fouled. That time Adrian used his quickness and got around Jesse Rod, caught it just on the left side of the free throw line, saw the left block open up, he took it around the left side, took it off the glass, and Oak Ridge closes the gap to 4, 22-18. Into the free throw line for one shot will go Adrian Porter.
Yes, David, Oak Ridge is coming out, and they're starting to get a little bit more momentum with them. As you said, they have not led this game.
22-19, back to a three-point game. The Dragons bringing the ball down the floor with Naif Abdul-Rahman. He swings it over here, left side to Beeman. Inside it goes to Rod. Against Kochek, dribbles it off his foot out of bounds. Oak Ridge basketball as Kevin Kochek checked into the ball game. So the Wildcats playing with reserves at the post position. David Pettis and Kevin Kochek, a sophomore and a senior. The point guard is Adrian Porter. The wings are Joffrey Lee, a sophomore, and Ross Nesbitt, a senior. 22-19 the score, 4:25 to play in the first half. Adrian Porter gets a screen from Kochek, dribbles to the left, picked up there by Kenny White. Continues to dribble, top of the circle, gives it out here to Joffrey, to Ross for three. Good! 3 straight shots by Ross Nesbitt from three-point range, and Oak Ridge has tied the ball game at 22. So Ross, cold to start the ball game, has caught fire.
Yes, he has, Dave. He started cold, and now he's made three straight, which makes him 50% from three-point, which I'd say he'll come out of this game much better than that.
3:55 to play, 22-22 the score. Bounce pass, out of bounds it goes. Kenny White was the man. He's a 5'11 senior. Looked to a spot where I believe he thought Jesse Rod would get to, but the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Oak Ridge basketball. Philip Leander and Kevin McKeithen doing our camera work on Channel 12. This is David Clary along with Jonathan Walls and Mike Sheehan. We're here at Clinton Senior High School. Tuesday night will be in Morristown as the Wildcats take on the Morristown West Trojans. Oak Ridge basketball, Adrian Porter harassed by White, gives it up to Joffrey Lee. Joffrey back to Adrian Porter for three, good. Three-point shot, the Wildcats catching fire, and Oak Ridge has its first lead of the night. They lead Clinton 25-22. 3:24 to play, and the Wildcats beginning to stroke it home from three-point land.
And we've made three three-pointers down the field so far. Ross Nesbitt now 3 for 5 from three-point land, and AP's 1 for 1 from three-point land.
Kenny White with the basketball for the Dragons, sets it out to the top of the circle to Morrow. Once again it goes to Beeman. Beeman guarded by Porter. Oak Ridge in the lead by 3. 25-22 the score. 3 minutes to play in the first half. The Wildcats drawing for the triple sweep tonight. There's a travel on the part of Jarrell Beeman as they turn the ball over. Junior varsity girls won tonight. Final score of their game was 56-32. Lady Wildcats win their varsity ball game 77-49. We got a barn burner here at Clinton, though. Oak Ridge in the lead 25-22. 2:53 to play first half, live from Clinton. Oak Ridge basketball. Joffrey Lee, Kevin Kotchek, free throw line shot, no good. Pettis can't get the rebound, it goes out of bounds. Wildcats back on defense, playing with Joffrey Lee, Adrian Porter, David Pettis, Ross Nesbitt, and Kevin Kotchek. 25-22 the score. 2:45 to play first half, and a great crowd as usual here at the Clinton Senior High School gym. Standing room only. We've come accustomed to those kind of games whenever we come to Clinton or at Oak Ridge. Dave Alderman at the point. Works the ball left side of Rod. Rod dribbles in, wants to shoot, goes in for the shot, good, and he's fouled. Jesse Rod just using his physical strength to drive in and put up shots, and the personal foul is called. This time the foul is going to be called against Oak Ridge. It'll go against Joffrey Lee. That'll be his first personal foul. And Jesse Robb will go to the free throw line with a chance to tie the ball game. 25-24, Oak Ridge on top. McCartney's coming in for Pettis. Kotchek's out. Darius Waters back in. So the Wildcats have the original starting 5. At the line one time, Jesse Rod. Guns, tie game. 25-25, so both teams really playing straight up with one another as the Dragons substitute Brent Sellers back in the ball game, and Jesse Rod comes out. If you're an Oak Ridge fan, the way Rod's been dominating in the last little bit, that's good news, but also Sellers can play a little ball as well. Oak Ridge basketball. Adrian Porter dribbles to the top of the circle. 25-25 the score. Oak Ridge goes inside to McCartney, inside to Darius. Double team, but still shoots. Missed it. McCartney back up, no good. Gets his own rebound up, good. Off the glass shot for Jacob McCartney, and Oak Ridge retakes the lead by 2. 27-25 the score. 2 minutes to play in the first half. For the basketball, Clinton. They look inside to number 40, Travis Marlowe. Can't get the ball, so he has to back it up with a pass to Marlowe. Travis Marlowe dribbles against Adrian Porter. Got a screen out there from Brad Sellers, sets it out once again. Here's a hop step, here's a pass, here's a shot. It's up, no good. On the rebound, Clinton, good. Brad Sellers, as I mentioned, he comes in for Rod, and he immediately pays dividends for the Dragons and ties the game at 27. Down the floor will come Ross Nesbitt. He's got Joffrey in the right corner. Inside it goes to McCartney, to Darius. Darius drives in, off-balance shot, no good. On the rebound will come Clinton. Travis Morrow with it to Abdul-Rahman. 1:30 to play in the first half. 27-27 the score. Nave calls the play. Joffrey defending him. Joffrey staying with him, but he's going to take it to the baseline. He's fouled by Ross. Personal foul against Nesbitt. 8th team foul, so Nave Abdul-Rahman will go to the free throw line. Joffrey was guarding him off to the opposite side, and he just blew past him on the other side as Clinton prepares to shoot free throws. Rod's back in. Travis Morrow is going to come back in the ball game. Oak Ridge playing with Nesbitt, Lee, McCartney, Waters, and Porter. At the free throw line, Naif Abdul-Rahman shoots, good. Got a friendly roll, and the Dragons retake the lead by 1. 28-27 the score. 1 point Dragon lead, 1:19 to play. We're in the first half from Clinton Senior High School. Toss is good. It'll be Oak Ridge basketball. Darius to work the ball in. They'll not pressure Oak Ridge this trip down the floor. Clinton has once again in the ball game. Well, actually for the first time, sophomore 5'11" Matt Patterson. Wildcats down 2, 29-27. Oak Ridge basketball. Joffrey Lee holds the ball outside the three-point line to Darius Waters. Darius gives it off to AP. Got a screen. Couldn't get a three-point shot off, although he thought about it. Now he guns up a three. It's up. Good. Oh, what a pretty shot from Adrian Porter. The Wildcats knock it home, and Oak Ridge retakes the lead by 1. 30-29 the score, 54 seconds to play. Shot is up, good. Too much penetration. Clinton retakes the lead. Back and forth we go. Great game here from the Clinton Senior High School gym. 31-30, Oak Ridge trailing by 1. With the basketball, once again, Adrian Porter. 40 seconds to play in the first half. Adrian guarded out high by Patterson. Comes off to Joffrey Lee to Waters. Back to Joffrey Lee. Joffrey hands it off to Adrian Porter. 29 seconds to play. Clinton's only committed 5 personal fouls, so the next foul will not put Oak Ridge on the 1 in the bonus. Adrian dribbling with 21 seconds to play. Guarded by Patterson. Looks like he wants to take him one-on-one, but they're not really going to allow that with Naif standing at the free throw line. Here it goes out to Joffrey Lee to Darius Waters. Darius drives in. They need this 6-footer. He buries it home. Oak Ridge by 1. 6 seconds to play. Here comes Travis Marlowe. 3, 2, lost the dribble. And a foul is going to be called. Foul called against whom? Might go against Travis Marlowe. I couldn't quite see. I think that is not the case. They're going to call it against Oak Ridge. Officials are talking about it. 1.3 seconds to play. It was indeed against Clinton, so I stand corrected. It'll be Oak Ridge basketball. Oak Ridge by 1, 32-31. Only 1.3 seconds to play. And Oak Ridge, as now the officials are discussing it, where the positioning of the ball will be. Officials are going to come over to the scores table to see if indeed it is the 7th team foul. Coach Gann says no. Coach Gann says it's the 16th foul. So Oak Ridge will have 1.3 seconds to get the ball all the way down the floor. Darius will work the ball in, work it into Adrian. The clock will not start until the ball is touched. They've got somebody in rear court with him, so Matt Patterson is back there to make sure they just don't roll the ball inbounds. Darius is going to work it in. Then it comes to Adrian Porter. Adrian at the buzzer, mid-quarter. It's on its way. It's way off. Goes into the cheerleading section of the Dragons, who never really saw it coming. Oak Ridge leads by 1, 32-31. Typical Clinton Oak Ridge matchup. Close all the way through. The Wildcats lead by 1.
Yes, David, this is very typical. They always come in here, and Clinton always plays us good, no matter what our record is, no matter what Clinton's record is. Clinton always plays Oak Ridge very well.
Well, we'll see what happens in the second half. We're about to get underway. Oak Ridge in the lead by 1, 32-31. Oak Ridge will get the ball first. Coming out with the original starting 5. Joffrey Lee and Ross Nesbitt will be on the wings. The posts are Jacob McCartney and Darius Waters. Point guard is Adrian Porter. The Dragons come out with Jesse Rod, along with Brad Sellers. Also coming out, Dan Weaver, Travis Marlowe, Naif Abdulrahman. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. He's trying to get some people in their seats. There's just very little walking room between the floor and the stands, so they're not going to actually start the ball game until they get everybody situated. And the policemen are coming over to make sure that everybody is situated. And now I believe the officials are about set, and we're about to have basketball once again. Second half about set. Oak Ridge on top, 32-31. The Wildcats trailed most of the first half. Dragons played excellent basketball in the first half. Oak Ridge has it, Adrian Porter, and we're underway here in the second half. Joffrey Lee out, it goes to Nesbitt. Ross given a 3, won't take it. Goes off to Darius Waters to McCartney. McCartney to Darius. Darius drives in, should get a layup. He scores. Wildcats lead now by 3. 34-31 the score. With the basketball will come Naif Abdulrahman. Nice play set up by the Oak Ridge Wildcats. Naif dribbling the ball to the right side, picked up by Joffrey Lee. Continues to dribble over towards the Clinton sidelines. Incidentally, Chris Lockhart is taking over the reins as the head coach at Clinton. He's taking over for his dad, Don Lockhart. As they get up a 3, it's up, hits the top of the backboard and goes out of bounds to be Oak Ridge basketball. Coach Don Lockhart, and I see him taking a leave of absence for a year, I understand, and maybe longer than that. Has had some health problems, but it's good to see him watching his son and his longtime Dragons. He's been the head coach here a long time. It's good to see Don here at the ball game tonight. 34-31, Oak Ridge in the lead by 3 with the ball. Here's Joffrey at the free throw line. Rushed his shot, but drops it in. Oak Ridge now by 5. Building up the lead, 36-31.
Yes, Dave, Oak Ridge has started out very well in this second half. They're not really pressuring Clinton as much as they have been so far. As Naif tries to drive on Joffrey Lee, or Adrian it looks like, and he misses that shot and it goes out of bounds. Clinton's ball.
6:55 to play in the third quarter. 36-31 the score. It'll be the Dragons to work the ball in. Jesse Rod from the baseline with Joffrey in his face. Long lob, intercepted by Adrian Porter. He had to go high and might have gone off the body of Naif Abdurrahman. Adrian got up, like we've seen Adrian do back in the days when he was a receiver and as a defensive back as well. It'll be Clinton basketball side midcourt. They work the ball in. To Abdurrahman, guarded by Joffrey Lee. Dribbles to his left, comes back to his right. Now continues to dribble all the way through and wants to shoot. Blocked by Joffrey Lee, and he commits a foul. Joffrey commits his third personal foul. Right now, Abdurrahman really schooling the sophomore in the early ball game, part of the ball game, and Joffrey picks up the foul. On the scoreboard, they have it as his second personal foul, and Naif will go to the free throw line. 36-31 the score, Oak Ridge on top. Naif missed the free throw. Banged off to the right side. Back to the line once again. Will go Naif Abdurrahman, senior, 6'2". Looks at the shot, guns it up there, good. Oak Ridge by 4, 36-32. Oak Ridge going for the triple sweep tonight. The girls won comfortably tonight. Final score 77-49. A second half explosion for the Lady Wildcats as Joffrey guns up at 3. It's up, no good. Skying for the rebound is Adrian Porter. That time he snatched it away from Abdurrahman. He dribbles to the midcourt line. Great rebound for Porter. Adrian dribbles against Naif. 6:25 to play, third quarter, 36-32 Oak Ridge. Adrian kicks it out to Ross. A wide open 3, no good. Darius Waters on the rebound. Back up with a shot. 3-footer this time, good. Darius Waters scores, and Oak Ridge leads by 6. 38-32 the score. 6:10 to play, third quarter. Here it goes, and ball's inside of Abdurrahman, good. And once again, it's a 4-point game. 38-34 the score. Here comes Oak Ridge down the floor. Adrian Porter in the rear court, picked up defensively by Dan Weaver, allowed to dribble the ball across the line. Adrian blows past him, pulls up, kicks it over to Nesbitt. Ross Nesbitt holds the ball one-on-one against Marlowe, pulls up, guns the three-pointer, it's no good. On the rebound will come Weaver once again. Down it goes to Abdurrahman. 4-point game, 38-34. Here comes Clinton driving, unable to shoot as Marlowe, backs it up, and then is fouled by Ross Nesbitt. Little hack on the part of Ross, going to call the foul on him. That'll be his third personal foul. Wildcats are in some foul trouble. Team foul number 3. The Dragons have yet to commit a foul. 4-point Oak Ridge lead, 38-34 as we play here in the third quarter. It'll be the Dragons to work the ball in. To work it in will be Jesse Rod. Here's the long lob pass, and it comes complete to Brad Sellers, and he'll hand it right back out to Naif Abdurrahman. Back to Marlowe, picked up by Nesbitt and Joffrey Lee, so he has to swing the ball back to the midcourt line. Wildcats would appear to be in a 2-3 zone. Maybe it's a box and one once again as they work the ball right side to Abdurrahman. Back it goes to Naif. Top of the key, the Wildcats in their zone. 5:17 to play in the third quarter. 38-34 Oak Ridge by 4. Clinton content to hold the ball a little bit as Abdurrahman dribbles with his left hand, calls the play, swings it out here to Travis Marlowe. Here's a steal and a foul. Thought they were going to get a steal. Jacob anticipated the pass, jumped in the passing lane, but might have made contact with one of the Dragons. That is the case. 4th team foul called against Oak Ridge, and Zach Goldmeyer is going to come in for the first time. Ross is going to come out with 3 personal fouls. The third foul is going to be called against McCartney. The ball thrown back in the rear court, then the Dragons throw the ball away. Oak Ridge is going to get it up by 4, 4:59 to play. So the Wildcats have the freshman, Zach Goldmeyer, who played so well in the first ball game of the year against William Blunt. He's getting his first playing time tonight. Oak Ridge coming down the floor with Adrian Porter. Porter dribbles against Naif Abdurrahman, gives it over to Zach, and then away from the ball, an illegal screen is going to be called against Darius Waters. 5th team foul called against Oak Ridge. We're going to be on the one in the bonus here momentarily. 4:52 to play in the third quarter. 38-34 the score. 5 team fouls called, and the third foul called against Darius. Wildcats have little depth, at least experienced depth, so the Wildcats are getting into some serious foul trouble. Goldmeyer, Waters, Lee, Porter, and Pettis in the ball game now currently for Oak Ridge. With it will come Travis Marlowe, guarded by Zach Goldmeyer, the freshman. He dribbles to his left, kicks it out here to the left side of Jesse Rod. Rod picked up by Adrian Porter, hands it back out to Naif Abdurrahman. Oak Ridge by 4, 38-34 in the boys game. Wildcats 2-0 coming into this ball game. 1-0 in District 3 play. Here's Naif dribbling inside along the baseline, and now a holding foul is going to be called, I think, against Dan Weaver of Clinton. That takes away what would look like was going to be 2 points for Clinton, the Oak Ridge basketball. That's the first foul called against Clinton. Oak Ridge leading by 4, 38-34, and Oak Ridge will get the basketball. They'll not put pressure on Oak Ridge as Weaver commits his 3rd foul. Down the floor will come Adrian Porter. Packed house here at the Oak Ridge High School gym. Crowd's not as loud and vocal as it was in the first half. Right now just settling back and watching a defensive struggle. Here goes Adrian dribbling, pulling up and shooting. It's up no good. Darris tips it in good. They're going to wipe it away and call a foul against Waters. That's his 4th personal foul. Darris got the board, tipped it back up. It'll be once again Oak Ridge having to substitute. Coming into the ballgame now will come Kevin Kotchek. So neither team really looking that sharp out of the break.
No, they're not, Dave. Both teams came out strong from the half, but now they've started to slow down. It looks like get a little bit sloppy on both ends of the court.
Dragon basketball moving away from us as we broadcast from the end zone here at Clinton Senior High School. Naif Abdul-Rahman at the point. 4-point Oak Ridge lead. 4 minutes played here in the 3rd quarter. 38-34 the score. They've got the basketball. Travis Marlowe out to Naif Abdul-Rahman. Oak Ridge playing with Adrian Porter, Zach Golmar, Kevin Kotchek, Joffrey Lee, and David Pettis. The Dragons playing with Beeman, Abdul-Rahman, Marlowe, Rod, and Brad Sellers. They're just dribbling around the perimeter, actually throwing the ball around the perimeter. The ball hasn't touched the floor in a while. 3:34 to play, 3rd quarter. 38-33. Naif just holding the ball near the midcourt line. Oak Ridge staying back in their zone. Clinton quite content just to work the ball around the perimeter. Naif just holding the ball near the midcourt circle, actually standing in the midcourt circle, which is actually a brown painted basketball in the grasp of a black and orange dragon painted on the floor. With the basketball, Clinton dribbling with it. Number 13, a block shot by Kotchek, I believe, or Joffrey Lee. Either one, they got their hands on it. Goes out of bounds. Clinton basketball underneath the goal. Jesse Rod to work the ball in. Junior, 6'3". Bounce pass comes in, and it comes to Marlowe. Marlowe dribbles out, throws the ball away. Intercepted by David Pettis. Pettis, a long lead pass to Adrian Porter, will bring the ball down the floor. Has trouble with his dribble. Waits for his teammates. There's Zach Golmar. Golmar back to Porter. 2:54 to play, 3rd quarter. Nice play, David Pettis. Pettis out here to Joffrey. Here it goes to Zach. Zach thought about shooting, will not. Lobs it inside of Kotchek. Double team, still shoots. Nice move. Missed the shot, though. On the rebound, Kevin Kotchek commits team foul number 7. They're shooting one in the bonus. Nice little look at the basket that time. The Wildcats couldn't get the shot to fall. It's the 7th team foul. Should be one in the bonus, and it is. 7 fouls to 1 here in the 3rd quarter. 2:42 to play. The Wildcats have been extremely aggressive, and they have committed the fouls, but right now they need a little spark, and off the bench will come Ross Nesbitt. 2:42 to play, 3rd quarter. Zach Golmar is going to come out. At the charity stripe will go Clinton. The man fouled, they say, is Jesse Rod. Rod in the ball game has had a nice night. 14 points, and he's 2 of 2 at the free throw line. This toss is good. 3-point lead now, 38-35 Oak Ridge on top. We just haven't had a whole lot of scoring here in the 3rd quarter. Back at the halfway mark, Oak Ridge led 32-31. They've only scored 6 points the entire quarter, and we're down to a 2-point game. 38-36. 2:38 to play. Porter with it over to Joffrey Lee. Lobs it inside of Kotchek. Back it goes to Adrian Porter. He dribbles to the top of the circle, finds Nesbitt free. Can't get a 3-point shot off. Gives it out to Joffrey. He throws the ball inside of Pettis. Pettis, one dribble, has his shot blocked, but a foul is going to be called against Clinton. They're going to go against Travis Morrow. They have a Travis Marlowe and a Travis Morrow. Both are juniors. One of them 6'5", one of them 6 foot. Morrow is indeed the man called with a foul. Second foul called to the free throw line will go the Wildcats. David Pettis. Pettis will have 2 shots, the first of which is up. No good. David is yet to score in the ball game. He'll have a second one. 38-36 Oak Ridge in the lead. 2:25 to play, 3rd quarter. Once again, to the free throw line will go David Pettis. Tosses up, no good. On the rebound, Joffrey Lee skies and pulls it away for Oak Ridge. Joffrey finds Adrian Porter. The Wildcats set up their offense. 2:20 and counting in the 3rd quarter, and a 2-point game. Oak Ridge on top. 38-36. Oak Ridge trailed most of the first half. Pettis looks inside, can't get the ball to Kotchek. Backs it up once again over to Joffrey inside of Kotchek. He's got a shot. Good, and he's fouled. It's a great drive. Kevin Kotchek, great feed to the post. They got the ball to him. He'll go to the free throw line with 1 shot upcoming.
That's a very excellent shot, Davey. He was double covered, put the ball up, and just took the foul and made the shot at the same time.
For those of you listening on the radio, the replay of this game in the second half only of the girls' game can be seen on Comcast Cable Channel 12 beginning at 12 noon tomorrow. Kevin's free throw, good. Three-point play, and Oak Ridge's lead is back to 5. 41-36 to score. Naif Abdul-Rahman in the rear court. Lobs a high pass out to Sellers. Sellers back to Abdul-Rahman. Hit penetration, is tripped, he walks. That's a tough call against Naif. It looked as if Ross might have tripped him or shoved him. No foul was called. Maybe I just saw that. Either way, Naif went sliding on his knee and constitutes a turnover, and Oak Ridge has the basketball. Here comes Beeman and Weaver back in the ball game. Out will go Rod and Marlowe for Clinton. Minute 58 to play, third quarter. Oak Ridge in the lead, 41-36. Packed house, standing room only crowds. Hot as usual here at Clinton. Just exciting atmosphere for a high school basketball game. Tuesday night will be at Morristown West as the Wildcats take on the Trojans. We'll have the broadcast beginning at 6 o'clock. Oak Ridge basketball, Adrian Porter to Joffrey Lee. Out it goes to Porter. Adrian looks back to Nesbitt. Oak Ridge with the ball and the lead by 5, 41-36. Adrian Porter back to Nesbitt. Picked up defensively by Dan Weaver. He dribbles over towards the Oak Ridge bench, finds Kochek free. Goes in Joffrey, spinning 5-footer, no good. On the rebound, Clinton. Abdul-Rahman brings it away. They've got the numbers initially, but the Wildcats get down. As Abdul-Rahman's picked up, they've got a wide open three. It's up, no good. Clinton rebound. Back up with a shot, on its way, no good. This time Nesbitt picks up the rebound, no good. Saved by Joffrey Lee. The Wildcats have it. Joffrey with it to Adrian Porter. Dribbles down the floor and waits for his teammates. Thought about dribbling in against Abdul-Rahman. That's been a great duel all night long. Here's Nesbitt, wide open three-pointer from the corner. He nailed it. Three-point shot. Ross Nesbitt in Beeman's face. And Oak Ridge's lead is 8. 44-36 to score. 57 seconds to play in the third quarter. With the basketball is Brad Sellers. Out it goes to Abdul-Rahman, and they'll hold the ball once again. Under a minute to play in the third quarter. Oak Ridge on top, 44-36, trying to up their record to 3 wins against no defeats. The Dragons trying to win their first district ball game and their second win of the year as well. 35 seconds and counting. Coach Lockhart telling his team exactly what he wants them to do. Coach Frank Fragamini, and also Vaughn Harrison assisting Coach Lockhart. The trainer for the Dragons is Mark Smith. And currently right now, the Wildcats have a 8-point lead, 44-36. The Dragons playing for the final shot here in the third quarter. Possession arrow will give the Dragons the ball first in the fourth quarter as well. 9 seconds and counting. 44-36 to score. Abdul-Rahman looking, firing. In the left corner he goes to Weaver. Weaver to Abdul-Rahman, throws up a 10-footer. It's no good. On the rebound, Pettis as the third quarter comes to a close. Our score after 3 quarters of basketball here at the Clinton Senior High School gym. It's the Oak Ridge Wildcats 44 and the Dragons 36, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. Back here at the Clinton Senior High School gym, fourth and final quarter about set. Oak Ridge in the lead, 44-36 over Clinton. The Dragons have the basketball. Oak Ridge comes out with Kevin Kochek, David Pettis, Joffrey Lee, Adrian Porter, and Ross Nesbitt. They've got Naif Abdul-Rahman, Brad Sellers, Dan Weaver, Travis Marlowe, and Jesse Rod in the ballgame. The Wildcats staying in that zone. 44-36 to score. Naif at the top of the circle. Gives it off to Marlowe. Really haven't given Oak Ridge anything inside, and Wildcats just not giving them anything inside. Jesse Rod's being harassed by Pettis down low. Over it goes to Weaver. Oak Ridge by 8, 44-36, and Clinton throws the ball away. That time Naif's pass just a little bit too high to Marlowe, went sailing off his fingertips out of bounds. The Oak Ridge basketball coming down the floor, and it comes to Adrian Porter. 44-36 to score. Here comes Adrian Porter down the floor for the Wildcats, picked up by Abdul-Rahman. He dribbles to the top of the circle, needs a screen, got one from Pettis, pulls up, off the glass shot, no good. On the rebound will come Weaver. Down it goes to Marlowe. Here's a long pass to Rod, goes in for the shot, no good. Foul's going to be called, I think, against Joffrey. The 8th team foul called against Oak Ridge. He already posted it up on the scoreboard. It was really quite obvious it was, so usually you wait for the official to come to the scorer's table before you post it up on the scoreboard, but it is the 8th team foul. Third foul called against Joffrey Lee, and at the free throw line will go Jesse Rod.
David, he's got 4 of 4 right now for Clinton, and that makes 5 of 5 right there as he sings that one. That gives him 17 points in this game.
Jonathan, what'd the girls do tonight?
tonight the girls blew out the Clinton Dragons with the victory 77 to 49, and the Lady Wildcats junior varsity into the game with 56 to 32 victory over the Lady Dragon junior varsity.
Second free throw is also good. Oak Ridge will be able to substitute. Kevin Kotchek's out. He had a nice little run of time for Oak Ridge. Also, David Pettis also gave some valuable minutes to the foul-plagued post players. Darius Waters will work the ball, and Oak Ridge leads by 6, 44 to 38. Darius needs to work it in, does now, to Ross Nesbitt in the rear court, picked up by Travis Marlowe. 7-12 and counting in the basketball game. Oak Ridge in the lead. Ross Nesbitt's going to bring the ball across the line, penetrate all the way through, kick it inside, throw it out here to Joffrey Lee. Joffrey out to Darius. Darius drives in, goes inside to McCartney. McCartney's shot is up, no good. Tipped up and good by Darius Waters. And the Wildcats up their lead once again to 8. 46-38 the score, 6 minutes, 52 seconds to play in the basketball game. Clinton basketball. Abdul Rahman, top of the circle, dribbles to the left, throws the ball inside of Rod. Rod shot blocked away, and a foul's called against Joffrey. I think he got him on the backside. I think it's a good call by the official. It's on the far end of the floor. The Oak Ridge fans really didn't like it, but indeed the foul's called, and Joffrey has his 4th personal foul. Wildcats still have available, obviously, Zach Goldmeyer, and he's going to come off the bench now, come into the ball game. Oak Ridge has Kevin Kotchek, David Pettis, as the free throw is missed, that time by Rod. Jonas Burnham is dressed out with the Wildcats tonight, along with Stephen Winfrey and Josh Booker tonight dressing out as Joffrey comes over to the sideline. 6:43 to play in the ball game. Oak Ridge on top by 8, 46 to 38. They trailed the entire second half as Jesse hits that free throw. Here's Oak Ridge down the floor. Wildcats working into McCartney. Back to Nesbitt it goes. 46-39, a 7-point Wildcat lead. Abdul Rahman guarding Ross Nesbitt. He dribbles past him outside the three-point line. Continues to dribble. Hand checked him. Kicks it out to AP for 3. They need it. He missed it. On the rebound, Adrian Porter. Wildcats set it up once again. Adrian dribbles along the baseline. Reverse layup, no good. Didn't get a lot of it, missed it. On the rebound will come the Clinton Dragons. 7-point game. Abdul Rahman, they set for 3. They need it. They missed it. It's an air ball, in fact. And a foul is going to be called away from the ball against the Dragons. Six minutes, 13 seconds to play in the basketball game. Oak Ridge leads by 7, 46 to 39, and that's the 4th personal foul called against Dan Weaver. They'll substitute into the ball game now Tyler Mays, 6-foot junior. He'll come in the game. Oak Ridge playing with freshman Zach Goldmeyer, junior Jacob McCartney, seniors Adrian Porter, Darius Waters, and Ross Nesbitt. 6:06 to play. Oak Ridge by 7 with the basketball. Oak Ridge basketball, Ross Nesbitt. Darius Waters looks inside McCartney. 3-second lane violation about to be called. It's going to take the shot. 3-footer, fade away. Good. Jacob McCartney scores, and the Wildcats lead now is 9. 48-39 the score, and for Jacob McCartney, that'll be his 6th point of the ball game. 5 minutes, 45 seconds to play in the ball game. Oak Ridge on top, 48 to 39. Dragon basketball. Here's a 3. They've got it. Good. Pretty shot. Guy fresh off the bench, Tyler Mays, blasts it home, and we're back to a 6-point game. 48-42 the score. 5.5 minutes to play from Clinton. Zach Goldmeyer with the basketball, can't control a pass. Wildcats back on defense. The Dragons, big lift off the bench that time for Tyler Mays. Fresh off, scores his first 3 points. Here comes Clinton down the floor. With it will come Brad Sellers, and it comes to Naif Abdul Rahman. 6-point Oak Ridge lead, 48 to 42, 5:21 to play in the game. Naif dribbles with his right hand, back to his left, picked up by Ross Nesbitt, comes off on the left, looks up high, sets it out once again to number 33, Mays, throws the ball away, intercepted by Nesbitt. Ross is going to take it coast to coast, and he's fouled. He got the layup to drop through, but as he blew past Jesse Rod, Rod had to reach in to try to slow him down, and Jesse picks up his 2nd personal foul. Only the 5th foul called against the Dragons, so Oak Ridge not shooting free throws as of yet. Oak Ridge will work the ball in. Ross Nesbitt will work it in from the baseline. Oak Ridge playing with McCartney, Goldmeyer, Waters, and Porter. The whistle blows. It's going to be a double foul. Naif Abdul Rahman and Adrian Porter. It's a double foul for Adrian. It'll be personal foul number 2. Oak Ridge is going to maintain possession, though. The alternate possession arrow give Oak Ridge the basketball. So once again, we'll just try to work it in. Naif picks up a foul. That'll be his first. Adrian second, so neither one of those 2 guys are in foul trouble. The official making sure that those 2 guys are aware that they don't want to have any kind of conflict like that again. And Naif guarding Adrian. Oak Ridge works it into Porter. Adrian guarded by Abdul-Rahman. He dribbles around a screen, comes out to the midcourt line. We're under 5 minutes to play in the game. Oak Ridge by 6. Oak Ridge basketball. Adrian dribbles in, kicks it back out. Zach Goldmeyer for 3. No good. On the rebound comes Sellers. Rimmed out that time. The Wildcats back on defense. Here comes Abdul-Rahman stopping. Can't get a 3 off. Backs it up. Now he's got a 3. Now he's going to penetrate. Kicks it back out. Away from the ball. Another foul is going to be called. It's going to go against Clinton. Might go against Abdul-Rahman. Set up that time by Ross Nesbitt. Second foul called against Nave. And Clinton wants a timeout. We'll take one ourselves. We'll be back to Clinton in 30 seconds. We have 4 minutes and 43 seconds to play in this basketball game. Neither team able to really get any kind of separation from the other. Oak Ridge has the lead by 6. 7th team foul was called. Oak Ridge will be shooting free throws now. Ross Nesbitt will go to the free throw line. Ross on the season for the Wildcats at the free throw line is 6 of 6 on the year. Gunning for 7 of 7, and he is 7 of 7. And Ross Nesbitt gives Oak Ridge a 7-point lead. 49-42 the score. Back to the free throw line once again. Ross Nesbitt. Toss good. 8-point game. 50-42 the score. 4 minutes, 41 seconds to play in the ball game. The girls of Oak Ridge and the JV girls of Oak Ridge won their ball games. Oak Ridge trying to come to Clinton and win all 3 ball games. The Dragons hanging tough though. It's an 8-point game. Delia steal by Porter. Saved out there by Travis Marlowe. Guns up on an off-balance shot. Good. Had to high arc it over the top of McCartney and it dropped in nothing but net. 50-44 the score. 4:19 to play in the ball game. Oak Ridge by 6 with the basketball. Adrian Porter gives it over to Nesbitt. Guarded now by Marlowe. Inside McCartney. Puts the ball down on the floor. They're going to call a walk on Jacob McCartney. Oak Ridge fans don't like it, but it looked like a correct call from my vantage point. And here come the Dragons down the floor. Naif Abdul-Rahman, 6'2", point guard, senior, also an outstanding soccer player for the Dragons soccer program. 6-point Oak Ridge lead, under 4 minutes to play. Here's number 33 driving in, pulling up and shooting, no good. Ball goes out of bounds, and Naif goes crashing over the top of one of the Wildcats on his back on the floor. He's okay. It'll be a missed shot that time by Tyler Mays. It'll be Oak Ridge basketball. Oak Ridge works it into Adrian Porter, and Adrian's going to bring the ball down the floor. Man-to-man covers are about to trap him. Now he gets the ball across the line with Waters. Back he goes to Adrian Porter. 3:47 to play in the ball game. 6-point Wildcat lead. Oak Ridge trying to go perfect 3-0. Wildcats in the lead, 50-44. Here's Zach Goldmeyer in the right corner. Zach takes one dribble, looks inside to McCartney. He's going to take his man in for a figure roll layup. He's blue pass. Brad Sellers, great move, Jacob McCartney. Oak Ridge by 8. 3:28 to play, and down the floor will come Naif. Sets it out to Jesse Robb once again. Dribbles top of the circle. Around the horn it goes once again. Clinton trying to get back in the ball again. They trail by 8. Marlowe with it out to Rod. Rod with McCartney in his face. Dribbles left. Packs it up. Gives it out to Marlowe once again with 3:12 to play in the game. Oak Ridge in the lead by 8. Clinton trying to attack the zone. The Wildcats trying to hold on to win this ball game. Dribbling backwards with the basketball is Travis Marlowe. He comes off on the right side in front of Coach Lockhart. Gives it off to Jesse Rod. Takes McCartney one-on-one. Now picked up as well by Sellers. He takes a shot. Great shot. Bucket good by Jesse Rod. Here's Oak Ridge down the floor. Oak Ridge in the lead. 2:50 to play. Clock seems like it's just clicking as slow as a calendar. 2:45 to play. 52-46 to score. Clinton fans beginning to yell defense. There's fans coming alive here. Adrian dribbles to around a screen by Porter, or by Waters. Then a foul is going to be called. Offensive foul called by Donnie Bennett. 2:35 to play. 52-46 to score. It'll be the third foul called against Adrian Porter. A player control foul. Dragon basketball staying alive. The Dragons, they're still very much in this game. It's still only a 6-point game. 52-46, 2.5 minutes to play. Naif Abdul-Rahman under control as usual, brings the ball down the floor. 2:29 to play, 52-46 to score. With the basketball, Naif. The Wildcats staying in that zone. They get it in the Rod, drives in, shoots, no good, draws a foul. They're trying to take advantage of Rod's quickness as he blows past Oak Ridge's post inside. That time he didn't get the shot to fall, almost did. Now he's going to have an opportunity at the free throw line. The foul, I believe, is against Jacob. Might not be. It might go against Darius Waters. If that's the case, that's his 5th, so Darius is fouled out of the game. And off the Oak Ridge bench will come David Pettis. 52-46. Really neither team able to pull away from the other. I think the Wildcats biggest lead might have been 9 points. Clinton's had a lead of 7 points, I believe, in the ball game, but for the most part, it's been a game of halves. Clinton dominated the first half. Oak Ridge, I wouldn't say has dominated the second half, but they've been able to maintain the lead here in the second half.
Absolutely, David. It's been a struggle down the stretch here, the Wildcats. Clinton's doing a great job, and particularly Jesse. He's made everything for the Clinton Dragons. We're going to have to blanket him and get the inside game going really strong down the stretch. Free throw by Jesse was good. Now the score is Oak Ridge 52, the Dragons 47.
Thanks a lot, Mike. 52-47, as Mike mentioned. 2:20 to play in the game. Jesse Rod, second toss. Missed it. On the rebound, Jacob McCartney. Oak Ridge basketball, 2:18 to play. Jacob just hands it off to Adrian Porter, who will bring the ball down the floor. We're at Clinton. Tuesday night we'll be in Morristown. 2:11 to play. Oak Ridge basketball. McCartney with it. Wildcats are content to work some time off the clock. McCartney's going to dribble around a screen, go in for a three-footer, missed it. No good. On the rebound will come Nafal Duraman. They can close the gap even further. They are going to throw the ball away. Tough break. They had a breakaway layup. Great pass. Threaded the needle to Jesse Rod. It was so good, he just didn't really see it coming. Wildcats got a break there. They still lead 52-47. Minute 53 to play. Here comes Adrian Porter down the floor. Adrian brings it across the line. Nafal Duraman guarding him. Here's Adrian pulling up, going in for a shot, and he's fouled. Now Adrian's going to shoot free throws, I think. It'll be the 8th team foul called against Clinton. Oak Ridge leads 52-47. The Wildcats trailed after one quarter, actually led after one quarter, 13-10. It was 32-31 at the half. They led 44-36 after 3 quarters. So they've led it every quarter, but it seems like Clinton really dominated, in my opinion, the first half. As the Wildcats started out slow, as Adrian misses the free throw. Wildcats still lead by 5, 52-47. Back to the free throw line one more time. We'll go Adrian Porter. The Wildcats playing with Nesbitt, McCartney, Pettis. As the free throw is good by Adrian Porter, and Joffrey Lee's back in the ball game. Minute 44 to play, back to a 6-point Wildcat lead. Of course, with the 3-point shot, it's still just a 2-possession ball game. Jesse Robb one-on-one, harassed, gives it out high to Travis Marlowe. Minute 33 to play. Clinton trying to get something easy. They're very patient with their offense. Robb with it, dribbles in. Now got a little help from Pettis. Going to take it to the baseline. They kick it out for a 3. It's on its way. No good. Long rebound. Oak Ridge's Porter comes away with the ball, but they're going to call the... What's the call? They're going to call a foul. Oh, I'm not too sure about that. Adrian came down with the rebound. He must have gone through somebody to get to it. It's on the other end of the floor from me, so I won't comment on it. 4th foul on AP. 6-point game. 1 minute, 19 seconds to play. Not too sure about that one. 53-47 the score. Now Clinton to the free throw line. Good. Toss made by Tyler Mays. We're back to a 5-point game. 1 minute 19 to play. Let's see if Coach Carringer calls a timeout after the made or missed free throw. Second toss. Good. Timeout is not called. It'll be substitution. Oak Ridge's lead is 4. Pettis will try to work the ball in. 1 minute 19 to play. 53-49 Oak Ridge. David Pettis to work it in. Yet to do so. Now fires it into Adrian Porter. Trapped and throws it off of Abdurrahman out of bounds. 3 seconds off the clock. Clinton fans sitting along the floor, asked to move back as Oak Ridge will try to work it in once again. Man-to-man pressure being applied on the inbounds. Wildcats will have David Pettis to work it in once again. 4-point Wildcat lead, 53-49. In it comes to Ross Nesbitt. Hand check, no call. Here comes Ross down the floor. He's guarded by Beeman. Ross with 1 minute 10 to play will dribble the ball across the line. Give it off to Jacob McCartney, who kicks it back out to Joffrey, who can't control the pass. Goes creaming into the stands, and the Wildcats turn the ball over. Wildcats really did not handle that situation too well. It was not a great pass kick back out to him. Actually, Joffrey had an opportunity to get into the crowd and get it, but the call was already made. Turnover. Under 1 minute to play, 4-point game. Typical Oak Ridge and Clinton ball game. 55 seconds to play and close. Abdurrahman holds the ball and hands it out to the top of the circle to Sellers. Nearly a steal, and indeed, Adrian Porter steals it. He's going to get a layup. He's fouled. See if Adrian's okay. Came crashing down hard to the floor. Wildcats got a turnover. toughest man in Oak Ridge, I think, is Adrian Porter, and he gets knocked around all football season. That time he got knocked to the floor, and he'll go to the free throw line. 44.8 seconds to play. Brant Sellers commits the personal foul. That's his third foul. 53-49 the score, and Adrian will go to the line. It's 2 of 3 tonight, 12 points in the ball game. Toss, good. AP gives Oak Ridge a 5-point lead, 54-49. 44.8 seconds to play in the basketball game. We're here at Clinton. Tuesday night we'll be in Morristown. Adrian Porter knocks down the free throw. Here comes Clinton back the other way in a 6-point game, 55-49. Abdul-Rahman to Jesse Rod. He guns the three. It's way off the mark. No good. Out of bounds it goes to Oak Ridge. 36.5 seconds to play. Clinton now will start fouling. Oak Ridge leads it 55-49. The Oak Ridge students sensing a win by Oak Ridge. They've got the car keys out, but I think we still have a lot of time left in this one to already be predicting a victory. A lot of the fans are heading out. Still, they can commit personal fouls and send Oak Ridge to the line. Oak Ridge is going to get it with 36.5 seconds to play. If they hold on, it'll be a triple sweep tonight here at the Clinton Senior High School gym. 55-49 the score. Oak Ridge eventually will get the ball. Pettis will work it in. Here's the long lob to Adrian Porter. He's going to get a breakaway again. Adrian Porter up. Deliberately called foul. Intentional foul called against Clinton. And Adrian Porter is going to get 2 free throws. Adrian is going to go to the line, and then Oak Ridge is going to get the basketball. 55-49. It would appear Oak Ridge is now headed for their 3rd win of the year.
David, that's the 3rd foul on Jesse Rod. Doesn't really matter now. There's 33 seconds. I don't think he's going to have to worry about fouling out in this amount of time unless he does 2 more of those intentionals like that. Adrian puts up that first foul shot. It's good.
Somebody I just noticed in the crowd is Coach Ricky Norris, the head coach of the Harriman Blue Devils, former assistant coach, and you can't help but notice he's fired up for Oak Ridge, watching his team that he was the assistant coach of for so many years. And it's, congratulations once again should be given to Coach Norris. He'll make a very, very good head coach down in Harriman. Oak Ridge fans are saying goodbye to the Dragon fans as they head on out. Looks like Oak Ridge is going to come away with a triple sweep here tonight. Oak Ridge now up by 7, 56-49, and we're going to get the basketball as well. The replay of the game can be seen on Channel 12 beginning at 12 noon. We'll only have the second half of the girls' game. We had a little technical problem with the first. We apologize for that, but we will have the Off the Glass show next Wednesday on Comcast Cable Channel 12.
And I look forward to that, Dave. That was a great show last week. Had a few technical problems there too, but boy, that state championship segment was awesome, and all the other interviews with all the players and everything. And Off the Glass is a very good show.
Thanks a lot, Mike. As the Wildcats playing with Adrian Porter, shooting 1 more free throw. Joffrey Lee's in the ball game. Jacob McCartney, David Pettis, and Ross Nesbitt. AP guns, free throw line, shot is good. Adrian's cool. He's going to get 1 more. No, he's going to get the ball. He needs 1 more point to tie Otis Howard for 6th place on the all-time scoring list as Oak Ridge gets the ball inbounds and he's fouled by Nath. So Adrian's going to shoot. Wildcats headed for win number 3. The Wildcats will up their record to 2 wins against no defeats in the district. The Wildcats leading 57-49. Not the greatest effort on the part of the Wildcats. I'll give a lot of credit to Clinton. They really made Oak Ridge play their game tonight as Oak Ridge, Adrian Porter knocks down another free throw. And Oak Ridge's lead is 9, 58-49. Adrian Porter has just tied Otis Howard for 6th place on the all-time scoring list. He has just passed Otis Howard on the all-time scoring list. 30 seconds to play. Here comes Nath Abdul-Rahman, 10-point Wildcat lead. Nath shoots, banks it in good. Dragons will call a timeout. We'll take one ourselves. We'll be back to Clinton. Oak Ridge on top, 59-51. We'll be back in 30 seconds. David Clary, Jonathan Walls, along with Mike Sheehan. We're also joined by Kevin McKeithen and Philip Leander on Comcast Cable Channel 12. We appreciate their help tonight as the Wildcats lead it 59-51. 26.5 seconds to play. Oak Ridge is going to, would appear to be headed for another win here. The Wildcats opened up with a victory over William Blount in overtime, knocked off district opponent Campbell County on Tuesday, and appear headed to a victory over their #1 rivals. Oak Ridge turns over the inbounds. Here's a shot blocked by Adrian Porter. Here's a rejection. Here it goes to Joffrey for the jam. He missed it again. One-hand stuff by Joffrey. Clinton's got the basketball, and then a foul's called. Joffrey's had 2 opportunities. That one was going to be massive. To Joffrey's credit, he's had a bad knee, and I'm not making excuses for Joffrey. I'm sure he'd love to have it. They had good defense underneath there. Joffrey got all rim on it. He's going to get a few this year, but tonight just really hasn't been able to get those dunks to fall. At the free throw line, Clinton. Shot is good. This game's still not over. 13.9 seconds, 7-point game. Oak Ridge in the lead, 59-52. Back to the charity stripe once again. Dan Weaver. Keys are out once again. They got put away for a while. Now they're back out again. Toss is good. Weaver's a good-looking ball player. As Oak Ridge works it into Adrian Porter, and then another foul, and they're going to send Adrian back to the free throw line. So we're just going to be in a foul fest here in the final 15 seconds. Both teams are on the double bonus, so every trip to the free throw line means 2 free throws. It'll be Adrian back at the line, coming off of a 29-point performance in his first ball game. He's got 18. He's now moved into 6th place all time. The net is kind of hung poorly, and they're having to try to get it clear. Wildcats in the lead, 59-53, playing with David Pettis, Jacob McCartney, Joffrey Lee, Ross Nesbitt, and Adrian Porter. And he missed the free throw. He'll have another one. They're playing with Sellers, Rod, Abdul-Rahman, Marlowe, and they're going to get a 3-point shooter, obviously, Tyler Mays in the ball game. 6-point game, so still just a 2-possession ball game. AP's trying to make it a 3-possession game, and he does. Hits the free throw. Oak Ridge on top, 60-53. Clock starts now, 10 seconds to play. Abdul-Rahman to Mays. Mays drives in, off balance shot, in and out, no good. Pettis on the rebound, saved by Nesbitt. Ross gets a breakaway. Wildcats win. Oak Ridge wins it. Final score, 60-53. So the Wildcats continue unbeaten. Wildcats record now of 3 wins against no defeats, and a kind of a slow start for the Dragons here. They come out of the gate 1-5. So the Wildcats victorious over Clinton tonight. Guys, your thoughts on the ball game?
Dave, it was an excellent ball game. Oak Ridge played strong, as did Clinton. Both of them came out with good defenses and played strong the whole game. They slowed down a little bit in the beginning of the second quarter, but it ended up being just as good as the first half.
Yeah, this game was everything I thought it would be. You know, it was right down really to the very end to see who was going to actually pull this game out. Adrian Porter had played his usual outstanding basketball game. Hard for me to believe he's only played 2 games since football season ended. Scored, 29 Tuesday night, 19 tonight. What a tremendous athlete Adrian Porter is. He just one of the finest athletes Oak Ridge High School has ever had in football and basketball. This is with an overall team effort for the Wildcats. They played great defense. They got after the Clinton Dragons, did what they had to do to win. I know Chuck Carringer's very pleased with the way things turned out tonight. And this team is, like I keep hearing him say, is a work in progress, and they're going to get better as the year goes on. It's going to be an exciting season for the Oak Ridge Wildcats.
So Oak Ridge wins all 3 games tonight. Final score of the boys game, Oak Ridge wins it 60-53. We're going to close it out on the cable if we haven't already. The Wildcats victorious in all 3 ball games. Kevin McKeithen and Philip Leander have done our camera work tonight. We'd like to thank them. Cynthia's back at the station. We're going to send it back to her when we come back. We'll look at the statistics of this game and the girls' game, and then we'll speak to Coach Chuck Carringer. The Wildcats win it by a final score of 60-53. And we'll be back to Clinton Senior High School in 3 minutes.